but he's not the father of the Negro. You understand? Now, let's read in this book called Jewish Civilization. I think you're on page, what, 19? Yeah, page 19. And it talks about the early Hebrew pharaohs that ruled Egypt. You see the name of that book right there?
Mm-hmm. The Hebrew pharaohs of Egypt.
Now, that's just, listen, I have endless sources. This is just one. I can't look, if you came in my house, first thing you're going to see is what, Martel? As soon as I open the door, what's the first thing? You're going to see a library. You're going to see a book library and a film library. More books than films. Rolls and books. A 30-year compilation of books. And guess what? I read all of them. I wear these glasses. That's why I got very light, sensitive eyes. But read on.
During this period, Semitic tribes enjoyed a favored position in Egypt. But these were the times of the Semitic Hyksos.
The Semitic Hyksos, this is something all the Israelite camps need to learn about this. They need to learn that the Hyksos were shepherd kings.
Is it Hyksos or Hyksos?
H-Y-K-S-O-S.
Hyksos. But they had, yeah, but that's not the only name that they had. They had several other names. Mm-hmm. Another name was Abiru or Hippiru. I was going to tell you about that. Read on.
The so-called shepherd kings.
Didn't I say that? The so-called shepherd kings. Now, what the name of this book is that in? Jewish Civilization. But that's not the only source. So when you read about guys like this guy right here, that wrote the book from Timbuktu, Babylon to Timbuktu, Rudolph Windsor.
Yes,
the man is smart. Listen, he's a very intelligent guy. Whether some of your colleagues like that or not.
Disagree with him or not.
Well, you know what? They haven't done the research. If they research what the guy is bringing out, they'll find out this man knows what he's talking about. You understand what I'm saying? But listen, I'm not even in this book right now. I'm in a book that the white man wrote. And the white guys are saying the same thing that this brother here is saying. Who's saying that? Jewish scholars. Where did they get these records from? They dug them up in the Middle East, out of Egypt, out of Israel, out of Canaan. They dug them up from Iran, Syria, all of those places. You understand? Read on. Come on.
So-called shepherd kings who had swept down from somewhere beyond Syria to make themselves masters of the land of the Nile.
Well, that somewhere beyond Syria happened to be Mesopotamia, which today is called modern-day Iraq. You understand? Go ahead.
The Hyksos ruled Egypt from the end of the 18th century BCE until the beginning of the 16th century BCE.
No, they were over there taking a vacation.
Ruled Egypt.
No, they were just visiting Egypt.
Ruled.
They ruled Egypt. Yeah.
You said the Hyksos ruled Egypt. Who are the Hyksos again?
The Hyksos are Hebrew Israelites.
Okay.
They were Hebrew Israelite pharaohs of Egypt.
Now, you know, people out there say the Hyksos was the white man.
That's a lie.
The ones that went into Egypt and started trying to conquer Egypt.
No, the
Have
one
you ever heard that before?
that's not true. See, look,
You ever heard that before, though, when they would
Yeah,
say
but
that?
that's in Alexander the Greek's time.
that's not. But
Way
the Alexander the Greek was not a Hyksos. He was a
before
white
Moses.
man.
This is before Moses' time.
This is before Moses.
And Moses passed for an Egyptian at that time, but the Egyptians were black at that time.
Alexander the Greek and them, sure, they went down into Egypt and conquered parts of it. But they're not Hyksos. They're Edomites. They're calling themselves Greeks because they have adopted that name. Oh, what the wind blows in on a Saturday? Have a seat. Have a seat, rap star. Have a seat. I might want your autograph a little later. Anyway. Good to see a rap star coming in here. Anyway. They're not the Greek. So we must be clear on this. Hyksos are Hebrew Israelites that came out of Syria and ancient Babylon during the time of Abraham and even a little before. And they migrated. Let me say this on that. The first migration of them did not only go into Egypt and Israel. Guess how far they migrated?
How far?
All the way into Asia, into China and Japan. They were the first rulers of the kingdoms. You don't get to sit back so far that you're not a stranger. Come on up close, man. You act like it's the first time you done came in here. Come on in here and sit down. They migrated all the way during that time of that Abraham period. They went all the way up into Asia, into China and Japan. And at that time, they named that country, when they first got there, they called it Sinai, like Mount Sinai. Later on, it was changed from that name to Chin and Q, which mean a learnt man of the Most High. Now, there's much history on that. I ain't got time to go into it all the way right now, but we'll find out that the first rulers of China and Japan were also Hebrews, and later on the second migration of Hebrews that went into China and Japan went there during the time of the Assyrian diaspora. Now, during that Assyrian diaspora, they were already known as the 12 tribes. When they first went there, they weren't gathered together as tribes. So when you read about ancient Chinese and Japanese, and many of them there today are still part of that bloodline, but not all of them. You're reading about Hebrew Israelites because the Asiatic so-called black man or Asiatics, period, come out of the Negro. You know what they used to refer to Filipinos as? People who live in the Philippines, they used to call them little niggers. When you look up on Wikipedia, you look up the word Filipinos, and you do get research, you will find out the word Filipino means negritos, meaning Negro. When you read about the ancient history of China and Japan, you will find out that they were first called Nagas. In America, they're called niggers. But in China, they were called Nagas, Nagas, meaning serpent gods or black.
You know what you're talking about.
Now, let me say this on that. There were temples built throughout China and Japan today that worship Nagas. When they first got in that country, they were called Sambo Black Nagas of Judea. Wait a minute now. Judasia, meaning Judea. That's what that means. If they're Chinese and they're in the land of China, why are they be calling them Judeans? Judasia. In other words, what I'm saying to you is that the original occupants of that land were Hebrew Israelites. And today, many of them that are there today are Israelites. Not all of them. You got Mongoloids that went up in that area and ruled a portion of China for 100 years. After that, they were ran back out by the Israelites that came back in, renegade monks that came back in from the neighboring countries like Taiwan, Tibet, ran a lot Vietnam, of them Cambodia back up into Russia where they came from out of the Mongolian Empire. Now, this is something a lot of young men fail to realize and understand. When they're looking at these Chinese, they call them Moab and Ammon. But when you go in the Bible, you find out that Moab and Ammon have never been Chinese. You find out that the Chinese were in China before Moab and Ammon were born. So how are they going to be Chinese if they were there? The Chinese were in the land of China before Moab was born, before Ammon was born. It makes no sense. When you read the records of Israel and you go in the 25th chapter of Ezekiel, you find out that Moab and Ammon were sold as slaves to the men of the far east. It says men of the east. But you got to understand, they were already in the east. When Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed by the angels, Moab and Ammon were born by Lot's daughters. They were born in the Middle East. What does that have to do with China? Look at the mileage. You look on a map. What do living in the Middle East got to do with China? How are you going to look at that and say these are Chinese? What happened is in One West in the Israeli church, when the high priest at the time, which was Ariah, when he got down to the history, which he made a lot of errors on and he had to be corrected, he did not know who the Chinese were because he didn't do the research. So he assumed that they were Moab and Ammon. And he got Israelites out there today still believing that. The religion that they practice is Islam. Now, they're not Islamic. Let's get some understanding of that. They're Shemitic, but they're not chosen. They practice the religion of Islam because they live in an Islamic state. Some of them live in Lebanon, Beirut, Transjordania, and those type of areas. What does that got to do with China? Any history you look up about so-called Chinese, you find out it connects all the way back to them being Israelites. Here's a book I got. I'm going to show in this book. And it took 67 books to put this book together. Here's a Hebrew Israelite school in China. You can see some of them are dark skinned, some of them are light skinned, some of them look like Bruce Lee. Now this is in 1912. They still knew that they were Israelites in Kafing, China. I don't know how good you can get that. And here's a synagogue.
Are those black people or Chinese?
They're Chinese, but you got to understand something. Chinese, in the beginning, they were all black. They come out of black people. Chinese come out of Negroes. That's who they come out of. Now, they're collectively, but I believe wholeheartedly all things that the Bible teaches. This is what's been dug up all over China. Look at this. Ancient Hebrew scrolls. Now, what's that doing in China? Well, you got the Assyrian Hebrew right here. That's from the second migration of Israelites that went to China. And then you got the ancient Hebrew that they dug up because the first migration of them happened during the time of the Hyksos, or the shepherd kings. So when you run around, you say, you little yellow-eyed, slanty bastard, you don't even know those are Israelites coming out of the tribe of Judah. And guess what? When they became tribes, they came out of intermarriage from Judah and Gad. There were 4 tribes that went there during the Assyrian diaspora. There was Judah, Gad, Manasseh, and Dan. How do I know that? 67 books helped put this thing together. This is like a 500-page book. Now, let me show you here. Here's another scroll they dug up in China. They dug this one up during that same period. Look at that. It's a Hebrew scroll. What's that doing in China? Now, a lot of Israelite brothers are going to tell you, oh, the Israelites used to be there, but they left China. Guess what? The Most High says that they're still there in the Bible. Now, let's get that. We're going to get that in the Bible. Read that out of this book right here.
This is called The Last 2 Million Years.
The last 2 million years.
Yeah.
I'm reading on page 176. It says this. It was during this period that many Chinese technological achievements, including printing and gunpowder, made their way westwards. As early as the 9th century, the Chinese had first made an explosive by mixing potassium nitrate, charcoal, and sulfur. At first, gunpowder was used only in fireworks displays, but later, the Chinese used it for a wide range of weapons, including bombs, grenades, flamethrowers, rockets, and guns. The heavily outnumbered Mongols finally succumbed to a rebel force, which inaugurated a native dynasty, the Ming, in 1368. Many of the Mongols stayed in China, mainly serving in the army, and the Ming followed the Mongol practice of making the military career and other important occupations hereditary. So what a lot of brothers are arguing is that the Mongols took over China, that's why they're light-skinned today, basically. The Mongols only ruled for 97 years. It was called the Yuan dynasty, Y-U-A-N. At the end of that dynasty was taken over, and I'm going to read about this guy. The Ming Resurgence, same book, page 373. Ming Resurgence. China was once again united under a native dynasty.
Native dynasty.
Give an example. The Native American Indians had this now before the Europeans, right?
Right, correct.
So if it was said that the natives took over the land again, who would be ruling America? Native Americans.
Right.
So if a native dynasty took over in the Ming, that means the original people that were there before the Mongols invaded took over again in the Ming dynasty.
Right.
So after the Yuan dynasty is the Ming dynasty, which is a resurgence of the original people called Chinese taking over again in that land.
Right.
So the Mongols didn't conquer China and remain in control to this point in time throughout history.
Right.
90% of the people in China are from the Han dynasty.
That's right. And that was a Hebrew dynasty.
Okay? And you have several dynasties, starting with the Shang dynasty, the Qin, and so on. The Yuan dynasty is the time period when the Mongols invaded and controlled for 97 years. After the Yuan dynasty is a native Ming dynasty. That's going to tell you about the guy that was a ruler. In 1368, its founder, Chu Yuan Chang, who became Emperor Hong Wu, was of peasant origin. He became a monk before he became emperor. He was from a poor family. The only man of humble stock, apart from the Han founder, to become emperor or son of heaven. Okay? So his title was Hong Wu, which means marshal.
Okay.
Emperor.
I want to show you one thing. And this is in a book called Wanderers and Settlers in the Far East. And this is on page 156 in that book. The bottom paragraph, it says this. The first emperor of Japan was a scion of the house of King David. I got that documented right here. Yeah, show that. Now, in other words, any emperor that became and see, I'm pointing to it right here, the first, because there's a lot of reading up here where this scholar is admitting this, but I just went right to the point where it says the first. See where my thumb is? Mm-hmm. The first emperor was a what? Scion or descendant of the house of who? King David. Am I making this up? No, now, here's it says here on the second paragraph. Here it says the ancient title of Japanese emperors can be traced back to the tribe of Gad, one of the lost tribes, one of the lost 10 tribes of Israel. See that right there? Right there. Right there. See where I got it right there? See where my finger is? Can you see it? Mm-hmm. Can you read it?
I got you. Hold it up. I got it.
You see the second where it says, what does it say there?
No, I can't see it on here, but
oh, okay.
I throw the video up there, be able to see it.
It says the ancient title of the Japanese, right there. You see that part, right? Right there.
Right.
It's going to tell you, man. Now, when I read further down, it says this. Okay, this next paragraph, you're going to really like this. The Oyabe theorized descendants of these distinguished Israelites might come to settle in Japan by way of China, which is all true. They came out of China and went into Japan. He offers evidence that there are in Japan such surnames as Kado. There's some very hard names here. Tukahemishkado, Nakashima-kado, Ome-kado, and Manessa. Here it is right there. Manessa, you see that? The tribe of Manessa. Like I said before, 4 tribes migrated there during the Assyrian diaspora. They went into China, and there were Judah, Gad, Manasseh, and Dan. Dan left that area and went into Denmark, calling it Dan's Mark. Today they're called Gypsies. Now, one more thing. I'll show you some pictures here. Now, I got friends, right, that I know, people that I know from China and Japan. So I asked this Japanese girl that I know, I said, look, you from Japan, right? She said, yeah. I said, you ever see any black people over there? She said, yeah. I said, where? She said, there's a lot of them that live. I said, black Japanese. She said, a lot of them live off the coast of the islands of Japan. I said, what? Now, I was not expecting to hear that from her. I was expecting her to look at me like I was crazy, right? But the girl told the truth. Now, I got pictures to show it. Here's the pictures right here. And here's the first emperor of China. His name was Emperor Chang. Tell me that, look at him now. Negro, but he's Chinese. Today, if you want to see black Chinese, you could go and you could punch up on YouTube the Mani people of Thailand. Mani is M-A-N-I. Mani people. Where'd that brother go? He disappeared?
No, he's just eating right there.
Oh, he's eating something? Oh, he could come in here. He could come in here and sit down.
He said he could come in and sit.
Yeah, come in and sit down, man. You ain't eating. You're not eating a whole turkey, right? No. All right, then come in and sit down. No, you can come in here, you can hear better in here. You see that? That's the first emperor of China. His name was Emperor Chang. We traced Bruce Lee, so-called the actor Bruce Lee. Mm-hmm. We traced his bloodline back to the Chang dynasty. Guess what? Bruce Lee's best friends were always black. His idol was Muhammad Ali. His best friend was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
That's true.
And when you read his memoirs, guess what he said? He hated the white man. He hated them, and they murdered him because he became more famous than any actor in America at that time, or in the world at that time. And they murdered him. It was just like they killed his son. Talking about they didn't know the gun had real bullets. Give me a break.
Yeah,
You check, when they do those movie sets, they check to see if, they know the difference between real and fake. You see, Bruce Lee refused to do that homosexual couch thing, that goes on in Hollywood. There's a couch thing you got to do in Hollywood to become, up in the top echelon, you know, to get that 20 million, 50 million, $100 million. He refused to do that, and he made it off natural talent. So they killed him. And then they killed his son, because his son was getting close to finding out who killed his father. Just like John F. Kennedy's son was finding out who killed his father, and he was going to run for president. And probably would have won. So what did they do? They rigged that plane so that he would die, JFK Jr. He died in that plane. That plane was rigged for death. They didn't want him to come after them, the people that murdered his father. They first dynasties that ruled China. And look, you call them little slant-out bastards if you want, but the Lord called them his people. We're going to read it in Isaiah 49, and just get right to the point, because we're going to, here's how some of them will look. Some of them look like us. Some of them do got slanted eyes. But that has nothing to do with ancestors. I'm looking at this brother right here. His eyes are slanted. Look at him.
No, when I looked at
Look, he looked like this picture.
That's right.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call him a slanted-eyed gook? Right. That's because ignorance is stupidity. We don't know no better. We was taught in One West, they're Moab and Ammon. They're not Moab and they're not Ammon. I tell you what, prove to me, I'm going to shut up now. Prove to me that Moab is the Chinese. And I'll shut up. Give me the historical data to show that Moab is a Chinese and that Ammon is a Japanese. Now that's out to anybody. Okay, now you ask me to prove that they're not, right? Prove that the Chinese are actually Negritos and Gadites that intermingled and married one another. That's why when you look at, I got pull pictures of Gadites up. You look at Gadites, they got them high cheekbones and small eyes. Long hair all the way down the back, right? All the ancient Chinese had that. Because they intermarried. There were 4 tribes: Judah, Gad, Manasseh, and Dan. Then Dan left and went into Denmark. Today they call themselves gypsies. But read Isaiah 49,
Verse 12.
and 12. Get directly to the point.
Behold, these shall come from far, and lo, these from the north, and from the west, and these from the land of Sinim.
Stop. Now let's look up that word Sinim. Because you got a brother on the internet that's teaching that Sinim is America. I'm wondering, can this guy read English? That's my question. How you going to, look up Sinim. Now I got it in here, but I want him to look it up. In what dictionary is that you're looking in? This
is the Smith.
Smith Bible Dictionary. Now that's in the Common Smith Bible Dictionary. And I want Sonetta to film that to show we're not making this stuff up. Read Sinim. No, I'm making this up, right?
No, sir.
Old Yashiyah went crazy. He done lost his mind. Come on, give me a break. There it is. Put it in front of that camera. Now, what did the Lord say he's going to do with these people? I want to find out, is he going to kill the Chinese, or is he going to save a remnant of them? Let's find out. Go back to Isaiah 49. Because what you're finding, let's get something. Look, that's just one source. I have endless sources. Let's get something straight. The Chinese are not a new tribe. They're no extra tribe in Israel. They're basically Judites and Gadites that mingled and married together. And Manassites that were separated from the other tribes when they came out of the Assyrian diaspora. And they stayed in China even after the Mongol invasion. The Mongoloids were eventually ran out back up into Russia where they came from. Genghis Khan and his little beat down ugly son. You understand? But the Israelites that were there started going into different philosophies of Buddha and all that kind of crap. These were just like Negroes are confused in America, following every man-made religion and thought and not following God. Buddha was referred to as a Sambo. Are you ready for this? Sambo black nigger. That's where the word old black Sambo, that comes from China. Why? Let me show you why. They used to call him old black Sambo. The Chinese were called old black Sambo. Why? Look at these pictures. These are all Chinese that live in China today. Now get that. Now go ahead and get that real good. Look at the different variations of Chinese there. But they come out of basically Judah, more so than any tribe. So when you look at, look, how come this guy that's in here right now, this brother right here, he looks Asiatic, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, am I seeing things? Look at him, Mata. No, does he not look like that picture that we showed in here of the Chinese? He can pass for that guy. Maybe that is him. He looks just like him. But I'm going to look at him and call him a slanted-eyed gook? No, you're doing that because you're ignorant, brother. Because you.
Those are the ones that they don't allow to come over here.
No, they can come
They
over.
let
Well,
them come over
most
here?
of them, no, they ain't got no money to come over here. If you want to see black Chinese now, go on Google, not Google, on YouTube, and punch up the word Mani, M-A-N-I. Many people of Thailand. And Thailand is Chinese.
Groups in Thailand and Southeast Asia.
The Mani are so poor, they live up in the forest and up in the mountain. They ain't even got a pair of shoes, but they're very civilized. They're referred to by the local Chinese that look light-skinned as, guess what? Nagas. Instead of niggas. It's the same thing. Nagas.
Nagas, which mean king.
It means serpent. It means
serpent.
no, but no, it also means black also.
Okay.
Now, right, it means serpent king. You smart. Serpent king, ruler, and black. So the local Chinese that look light-skinned, they refer to them as these are the Nagas. Now, over here they're called niggas. Now, the tribe of Ephraim. Let's jump on that for a second. The tribe of Ephraim got brothers in there that look just like Esau, the devil, the white man. Yet many of them are our brothers and sisters.
Now, who is the tribe of Ephraim?
Ephraim is the Puerto Rican.
Okay.
Now, but the original Puerto Rican were black as tar.
What is its heritage? What makes Louisa one of the unique areas of Puerto Rico?
It's been 100% black population.
But the ruling class people that rule Puerto Rico are not Puerto Ricans at all. They're Spaniards.
Joseph is part of the
Joseph in the Bible is the father of Ephraim. Joseph was black.
And he was an Egyptian pharaoh.
And he was an Egyptian, he became a pharaoh in Egypt. Now, let me show you this. Here's a black Chinese. This is in the 1920s. Here's a guy in China now. Black Chinese. The brothers are called all kind of names, not knowing this is their people. Look at him, grinding rice. How black is this guy? Is he dark enough for you? For all you Israelites say, how could they be Israelite? He's not dark enough. Oh, well, is this black enough for you? I want to know, is that black enough for you? For those of you that are ignorant enough to judge people by the color of their skin. Let me tell you something you may or may not know. The actor, in which you see no Negroid feature in, period. One of the most famous, highest paid actors on earth today, a female. Jessica Biel. That's her name, right? Mm-hmm. Jessica Biel looks just like a white girl. Jennifer Biel. I'm sorry, correction. Jennifer Biel.
Jennifer Beals was the star of the movie Flashback.
The star of the movie, yeah, but she's in a lot of movies now. You can't see any Negroid feature in her at all from head to toe. Guess what, my Negro? She's a Negro. You know why? Her father is Negro. He looked identical to the brother sitting right here, to Sinetta. She brought her father out. He's black. Now, Derek Jeter. Don't he look like a white boy? Oh, hold up. Now, hold it now. Don't Derek Jeter look white?
When you really look at him, no, he's not.
Well, he looks like a very close to it.
Yeah.
But very close to a lot of ignorant blacks. I said that for that reason. To me, he don't look really white. He just look like a light-skinned nigga. But you ask the average black in the street, well, he's a white boy, look at him. That's not true. They don't understand facial features and structure, and they can't tell between the different variations and colors. I'm looking at this brother right now, man. He could pass for Asian any day of the week. And look at him. But you do, because guess what? The Asians come out of you. They're Negro. That's why they have the nose the same way as you. And that's why they set up in our neighborhoods and open up restaurants and successful and work together and get things done. Now, a lot of people can talk a lot of crap about them and all that, but they go in there and they buy that chicken fried rice, don't they? When the Bruce Lee movie came out, they hurried up and saw that, didn't they? Huh? And they want to learn kung fu and all that stuff, but guess what? That comes from us anyway.
That's in the Bible.
Right. They have nothing to do with Moab and Ammon. Moab and Ammon are a completely different race from the Chinese in the Bible.
Zechariah 8.
Let's read it. Tell them where you're at.
There's another part in the Bible. Zechariah chapter 8, verse 7.
Come on.
Thus saith Zechariah 8 and 7. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, I will save my people from the east country
No, he's talking-
and from the west.
When you say from the east, he's not just talking about the Middle East. He's talking about the Far East. Now, where's that at? Zechariah what?
Chapter 8, verse 7.
There's a whole lot of scriptures we can go to concerning it. I want to show one more. Oh, yeah, I got to show you this. Every emperor that ever died in China, when he was buried, what's the first thing that went in the grave with him? The Star of David. Wait a minute. Hold it now.
Where's that?
That's You see it right there? What's that doing there? Now, I'm making this stuff up, right? I'm crazy.
What year is that?
This is through all the first dynasties. This is from the first dynasty all the way to the Song dynasty. Look, now look how he look. Similar to this brother right here. Yeah, you're gonna call them all kind of names because you're ignorant and you don't know the truth. And when somebody tell you the truth, you still want to reject it. You want to hold on to the lie so long that you can. But like a lot of brothers is confused about Cornelius. That's another thing.
Italian band.
They think that Cornelius was a white man. They don't know. Let me prove that that's not true. Let me prove it. Let me show something on that. Cornelius was the head over the Italian band. Now check this out. And God heard his prayer and answered the prayer of Cornelius because he had a soldier that was sick or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And he wanted his soldier to be healed. Now listen at this. The original Italians, listen to me very closely. Now this is in a book. See the name of that book? The original Italians were black as tar. I've been to Italian events, me and my wife. We've done real estate business with a guy named Ben DiConstantino, right? So I went over to his place out there where, nothing but millionaires live out there. Somewhere in Brooklyn, like you wouldn't even know that part of Brooklyn existed. Near some, what do they call it? The marina, right? Yeah. The marina and all that. And he pointed out a house. He said, he said, how much you think that house cost there? I said, I don't know. He said, $5 million. I said, who lives there? Oh, the head of the so-and-so family. The head of Guess what? A big black nigga came out. I said, I went down, I looked at him, I said, Ben. He said, yeah, it's my cousin. So my mouth dropped. I said, wait a minute. So I couldn't say nothing. So everybody was looking at me, all these Italians, right? Like, well, you got a problem with it? No. I was speechless. I said nothing. No, Rochelle wasn't with me that night. Akram was with me. A brother named Akram from Egypt, who happens to be Israelite too. But anyway, when I saw that, and then I remember this other Italian guy was telling me a long time ago that I looked like his uncle. I said, what you mean I look like your uncle? You're a white boy. He said, I'm telling you, man, my uncle's he's darker than you. Because then I had to do research. I said, let me see what these guys are talking about. They're making this stuff up or what? So I start digging into the ancestry of the true original Italians dynasty, and this is what I found out on page 232 and 233 of this book. And there are many, many more books and things that show that. Let me show this very quickly. And Polite must be stuck, man. Listen at this. The first blacks, the first Romans, are you ready for this?
Yes.
Were black.
The first Romans.
Said the first. Now I'm going to prove it. Let me read what it says. The earliest known natives of Italy were Negroes. We're talking Italian now. As was said, thus making the base of the Latin race Negroid, according to Dr. Wilson, basing his observations on the earliest Etruscan pottery, refers to the well-known example of Etruscan vases, meaning the Etruscans are the people that the Italians came from. You understand? They were born out of the seed of the Etruscans. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the white boys you see running around today is our people. Don't get it twisted.
Right. I know.
What I am saying is that the original base of Italy was black, and there's still a lot of black Italians left there today. And I'm not saying another thing. I'm not saying that every Chinese you see is an Israelite. I'm not saying that every Japanese you see is Israelite, because many of them are Mongols. But a lot of them are Hebrew Israelites. If they can show you that their father on their father's side, that they come out of those first 7 dynasties that ruled China, like the Hans, the Shang, name some of them out there, the Zhou. You're going to read them now. He's got a whole list of them. There's 7 dynasties. They come out of any one of those, they're Israelites, whether you like it or not. Whether their eyes be slanted.
Xia, Shang, Zhao, Qin, Han dynasties.
Louder,
Xia,
lift your voice up.
Xia, Xia, Shang, Shang, Zhao, Zhou, Qin, Qin, is pronounced is Qin, Han, Han dynasty. These are the early dynasties of China.
Now, it's telling you that the Etruscans were the base of the Latin race. They were Negroes. Out of the Etruscans come who? The Italians. Now, here's the picture of the Etruscans. Get a white man out of that. Go ahead.
That's what I like about you. You're showing proof. Anybody got a charger?
See, talk is cheap. We got charger. What kind of charger? What kind? For the phone?
Galaxy Note 3.
Do we got anything? Anybody? Nobody ain't got a charger? He got charger? He got one. He's got one. He's got one. But listen at this. I want to get back to this. I want to make a special note on this. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that Gino Paparini is an Israelite.
Right.
I'm not saying that the Gambino crime family is Israelites.
That's not what he's saying.
I'm not saying that Lucky Luciano, what's his name? Luciano is. I'm not saying that. I am saying that there are many Hebrew Israelites that are still in Italy today, and some of them are dark-skinned, and some of them look almost like white folks. Some of them do look like white folks. That seed is there. Israel is scattered in every nation. The 4 corners of the earth. But when it comes to Chinese, they were Israelites from the very start. But you were told they were Moab and Ammon. I asked you, prove to me that they're Moab and Ammon.
Just a quick question, Shai. Who started that?
Well, that rumor was started a long time ago in One West. And like I said in the earlier video, when I first came in this almost 40 years ago, very close to 40 years ago, they had the basic fundamentals of the Bible correctly. What they did not have is the historical data and the archaeology to prove up some of the ancient histories of the world to show who was who and where and what and when and how to do it. So you have to go to more than the Bible to back up the Bible. Sometimes you have to go into other archaeological facts. And the Bible speaks about that, how the earth would open up her mouth and help us. What came out of the earth? Documents and facts and records, archaeological digs. Let me show you this one thing. You got to show me fact after fact. It got to match. It got to line up with the Bible. You got to prove all things. You got to be able to show me historical data and archaeological facts for me to accept it. If you can't show me those things, then I have a problem with it. And I don't care who it comes from. As long as you can come clean and show me and sit down like a man, like you have intelligence, and digest and get some of that hate out of your system, because you're going to keep running around with so much hate, you're going to catch cancer and die. You got all these Israelite groups out here hating on one another. What kind of madness is this? How are you going to say you God's people yet you hate that group hates you? You hate all the groups. What kind of madness is that? Is Christ divided? Because if you're going out there teaching that every Israelite group is no damn good and your group is the only good group that is good, then you're a damn fool. Not only that, you're wasting your time. Not every little Israelite might know some of the things that a few others might know that others don't know. That does not negate the fact that they're trying. But if you just go out and shout obscenities about every group that exists, what are you accomplishing? Putting on like a child playing with a toy. I'm going to go on the internet and I'm going to talk bad about this person, that person. Listen, I could care less what you say about me. The badder you talk about me, it seems like the worse things you say about me, the more I'm getting blessed.
That's right.
The more you say bad things, the more blessings that come to me. So continue to run your mouth until you have a stroke. Go ahead.
Christ said this in Matthew 5. Blessed are ye when men shall persecute you and revile and say all manner of evil against you falsely. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you.
Right.
That's in the Beatitudes.
Okay, now I got in my hand a Holy Quran. We're scowling around. We're scowling around a little bit here now. We said, well, why he got the Holy Quran, right? Now, don't get it all twisted. No, I'm not part Israelite and part Muslim.
Let him read that.
I'm not part Israelite and part Muslim. I'm 100% Israelite. But I want to show you something in the Quran because let me say this. The reason I'm showing the Holy Quran is because I had a slight conflict with a Muslim one day. And he kept on talking about how great Muhammad was and how great the Prophet Muhammad was, and he's the only one that God deals with, and that the Holy Quran is the holy book of the earth, and that the Bible is nothing. I said, is that true? He said, that's right. I said, well, hold on a minute. I got a Quran. I said, could you hold on a minute? He said, yeah. So I said, well, just hold on a second. Let me pull out my Quran. I said, so I gave him the book. I said, is not this the Holy Quran? Oh, man, he acted like I was holding God Almighty in my hand. He said, yes, that is the Holy Quran. Voice started to change. I said, well, would you mind if I go in the Holy Quran and show you a little something? He said, what do you know about the Quran? I said, he said, you Israelite. You don't know Quran. I said, hold on a second, brother. I said, are you going to give me the opportunity to go in the Quran? He said, go. I said, okay. I said, now remember, earlier you were stating to me that the Bible is garbage and that, the Israelites don't know what they're talking about and that God chose Israel and that he only deals with the Quran and the Muslims, and the Muslims are going to rule the world and everybody's going to bow to them and they're number one in God's eyes, they're number one in Allah's eyes, right? He said, that is correct. I said, well, let me show you something in your Quran. I said, well, you need to explain this to me because I'm having trouble understanding what this is saying, and I need your input on it. I need to go to the Holy Quran. And I want to go to the book of Surah. Yeah, Surah 2. Check this out now. I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to go to a couple of places. I ain't going to just one spot. It's all puffed up and proud. And this is what I showed him here. And I'm going to read it here. This is in Surah 2 al-Baqarah, section 15, verse 122. But that's not the only one we're going to go to. But I want to read what it says. Children of Israel, call to mind the special favor which I bestowed upon you. Now understand, this is the Quran. This is not the Bible. Which I bestowed upon you, and that I, meaning Allah, preferred you to all others for my message, meaning above all people, above the Muslims, above everybody. No, look, here it is, right here. Get that.
Yes.
Get that right there. I want to make sure you get that in front of the camera. For everybody that got a problem, it's talking about, we don't know what we're talking about. There it is in the Quran. It's right there in the Quran. Did I type that in there or is it in there?
It's in there.
It's in there. I didn't type that in there. That's not a typographical error.
Yes.
That thing. Now I got one more. There's a lot. Well, it's a lot, but I ain't got time. There's so many in the Quran. I don't have time to go through all of them. But I want to go through another one. It's pretty nuclear in nature. Since they say, because I hear a lot of Muslims say this. Now here's what it says in Surah al-Ahzab. Surah 33, al-Ahzab, verse number 7. Since the Muslims always say that Jesus was not the prophet, that Muhammad was the prophet.
Right.
Isn't that what they all say? Now look, let's play, somebody can want to play, if you want to play devil's advocate right now.
That's the title.
Now, I'm going to read what it says here, and I told you where I am. Since Jesus is not important, since you're wondering if he died on the cross, since Muhammad is the only prophet according to the Muslims, am I right or wrong?
Right.
Since he's the number one prophet, then there should be no need of the Bible at all, right? All right, well, let's see what the Quran says about that. Now, I told you that I'm in Surah 33, al-Ahzab, verse number 7. And this is what it says. These are not my words. Those are students coming in. Tell them to be kind of quiet. Come on in. All right, this brother's coming in. I want you to listen at this closely now.
Okay.
And remember, we took from the prophets their covenant. That's not enough. Let's find out who these prophets were. As we did from Noah, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus, the son of Mary, we took from them a solemn covenant. Here it is, highlighted in. Hey, you can't make this up, man. You can't make this up. You might say, no, I made that up. Do it look like I made that up and typed that in there? It's telling you that the Muslims took from us so that they can put this so-called Quran and all that together. They learned from Moses, Noah, Abraham, and all of them. You understand? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, yeah. Do you understand? So am I lying? What? Right, this is in the Quran. Now, my question is, so what is significant here? It is significant that the Muslims learned from the Hebrews. Because when Muhammad was an illegitimate camel driver in the beginning, who did he study with? His cousin Waraka. Waraka. Do you know that's ancient Hebrew? They call it Aramaic. Waraka. Waraka. He studied how to read the Hebrew scrolls from her. And he was so fascinated by it. And in the beginning, the Muslims had over 300 gods that they worshiped. If you don't believe that, I can go in this book and prove it now. What's the name?
You talked about, you were doing a little research and you came across something where these Muslims having sex with 7-year-old girls.
Oh yeah, well, let me explain that. You don't have to believe my word. Go on the internet and go on YouTube and Google up Yemen, the word Yemen, and Google up Yemenite men marrying children. Right. And you will see grown men marrying little girls 7 and 8 years old. And a matter of fact, the aunt brags about it, how when the father sold the daughter to this guy who was in his middle 20s, a 7-year-old girl. Yeah, a Yemenite. So her father said, our family is in debt, and the only way we're going to get out of this debt is if I sell you to this guy over there. Now, this girl is not even in puberty yet. She doesn't even have any hair down there yet. He takes the girl, his family gets out of debt. What happens? Now, listen at this now. You're reading it, right? I'm not making this stuff up.
He typed in the article.
Right. Right. Okay. So, am I just sitting here making up stories? I'm not making this stuff up. And check this out. I want you to hear this part. The guy marries the girl, right? Did you hear what I'm saying? Yeah. The guy marries the girl. When it comes time to have sex, the aunt follows them in the bedroom. Now, keep in mind, the girl's only 7 years old. Did you hear me? The aunt follows them in the room. Tells the girl to take off all her clothes. Now, the dude, he takes off all his clothes. I don't know what kind of freak he was. He gets in there with the aunt and the little child. Lays the little girl down on the bed. The aunt holds the little girl's legs up for him. He jumping on top of her, and the girl crying, screaming, Auntie, it hurt real bad. She bleeding. When he finishes, the girl is crying and bleeding. The aunt tells the girl, shut your mouth and stop all that crying. Now you're a woman. Now, if you think I'm making this up, go on the internet. Today, there you go. Look, I want you to see that now. Put that up. For all you that talk about you Muslim and you're into Islam, you know, you're going to get a rude awakening from the Most High. Because you're marrying little kids, man. You can't say this is a woman. But you ain't man enough to wait till she grows up and at least gets past puberty. You can't wait till she gets past puberty. You just got to have this. What does it say on here? The Prophet Muhammad practiced it. Marriage to a prepubescent girl. It wasn't abuse or exploitation. It was marriage. Dr. Bilal Phillips British imam. Now look at, and they still do that today in Yemen. Now you want to talk about rape? That is rape. That is not, that's beyond statutory rape. That's straight up rape, man. You understand? And in the nation of Israel, rape is punishable by death. You know? And so when you got, when you have, I'm gonna wait till he comes back. When you have Israelites that are confused because they don't understand a certain scripture or they're angry about something, and then they allow their minds to drift into that type of darkness, to believe that it's okay to rape women, you're committing a crime against that woman and against the Most High, and in time you will be punished and destroyed by the hands of the Almighty. Somebody at the door? Okay, he's at the door. Right. Okay, so yeah. Now, shalom, brothers. Glad to see y'all in here today. This came as a surprise today. You know, yeah, we're on the second floor. Wasn't expecting all of this. Yeah, you gonna hold that till you come back down, or what? You wanna hold it, or what? Yeah, this is it. It's 2 Samuel, the 13th chapter. Hey, shalom, my brother. Hey, you can sit wherever you want. You ain't gotta be no stranger way in the back. If you want to sit up close in the front, no problem. Sit wherever you want. You're not gonna be hated in here, man. Believe that. Sit wherever you want. I mean, if you want to sit closer, it's up to you. If you can't see, whatever. Don't feel strange, man. This ain't the house of horrors. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got their book there, move that so he can sit there. No, that's stuff. Who's sitting? Yeah, yeah. There's another chair he can get right here. Yeah, make some room for this man, man. Thanks a lot, brother. You're more than welcome, brother. Yeah, so it's complete madness.
Put one of the chairs in the back.
It's complete madness. Put one of them chairs from the back. Insane. Now, among the Muslim nation, they do that. In Yemen, you just pulled it up. We just showed that. I just showed you in the Quran that everything they believe in, they got from who? From Moses, from Noah, from David, and from who? Jesus Christ. How come imams don't never teach that in the temple? How come Muslims, I had a problem with a Muslim outside, right? And he was hollering about the Bible ain't nothing, all that. When I showed him them two things I just showed y'all, every time I see him, he see me bow his head, he won't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't know this was in the Quran. It's the Quran. You ain't got to argue with these people. Just show them the facts. For example, say I want to cut through the chase right now. I'll make a statement. Black people ruled Europe for 1,000 years. They were so-called Hebrew Israelites under different names. They came there during the Assyrian diaspora. Now, when you hear the word Anglo-Saxon, you immediately, because you're training in school, from grade school on up, you were trained those are white folks, right? Mm-hmm. Am I making this up? Right. You say that got to do with white folks, right? Well, here's a book called The Dark Ages by a white guy, a scholar named Michael Woods. And let's find out about that. This cuts through the chase. See, by showing you what I'm getting ready to show you now, it avoids me having to show you 1,000,000 books. Because when I can show you this, one thing that I'm going to show you will leave no doubt in your mind that the statement that I made is true. Now, in this book on page I think it's 133, bear with me 1 second. I'm going to show you something here about the greatest Anglo-Saxon king. We know that the Bible is the number one source, but then it doesn't hurt to have sources that back up what the Bible is saying. Now, I'm going to read a caption on page 126 and 127. This book is called The Dark Ages. It's by Michael Woods. Michael Woods. Mm-hmm. Now, this is on page 126 and 127. It says, the very celebrated king who by the grace of God ruled all of England. Now this is an Anglo-Saxon king. Listen at this. Alcestis, listen at this. For the 12th century antiquarian harking back to a golden Anglo-Saxon past, Alcestis was a great king par excellence, an English Charlemagne, whose court was a byword for glamour, glory, and gold. He was filthy rich. Now, the earliest portrait of Alcestis presents a present to Saint Cuthbert, our earliest royal portrait, meaning painted during his lifetime. Now, get a white man out of that. They're blacker than that coat that the brother got on right there than the brother got on. Than Brother Polite. All right, look, y'all think I colored them faces black? You can hold the book and look at it yourself. I'm not making this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. Either you buy the book, you're going to see the same picture in there. Now, tell me they're not black, because you know what? White boys, some of them get stupid when they see these pictures. Like I had one tell me one time, well, the reason they're that color is because the church that they were in caught on fire, and the painting got burned. I said, how in the hell just their skin got black and ain't nothing else in the picture got black? Right, they closed. Well, right. What kind of sense does that make? You understand? These were two of the greatest Anglo-Saxon kings that ruled not just England, Ireland, France, Germany, Spain, Russia, Sweden, Portugal, Switzerland, Germany, Russia, guess what? Australia. Australia too. That's something. Amsterdam. That's easy. They had that. I just have to say the globe, man. For 1,000 years, and guess where the white man was? Picking cotton for you, getting his back wet. But we didn't treat them as bad as they did us. A day's business, remember I showed you on the video, a day's business in the court of the king in England consisted of what? Rounded up white guys, bringing them to court before a Supreme Court justice. Remember I showed you that in the video? And pronouncing them guilty for little crimes. Remember that? When you go back over that video, you're going to see that book called, what was the name of that book? I got so many of them. It was Oxford Illustrated History of British Monarchy. These books you can't get. Or if you do get them, a lot of times they cost crazy money. Sometimes you get them for pennies on a dollar. One book we had, they want $5,000 for it. Then it went down to $2,000. Then I don't know what it is today.
No,
but
I know you're right, because that's the type of books for like you
get. Right,
like
man.
So we know you're right.
You know what I'm saying? Just like they try to tell you that President Obama is the first black president of the United States. That's not true, man. We've had about almost close to 7 or 8 black presidents. Even in 1920s, do you know we had a black president? How come nobody don't know that? Where's these black scholars and different things? Where are they at? What happened to Professor Jeffries and these different guys are supposed to know so much? Warren Harding was a black president of the United States. And some people that knew his family contacted me from Ohio and was in contact with me for like about a year straight. And we used to talk long distance on the phone. I don't know how they got my number. But they were telling me about how the CIA was going into where he was born and killing off his family. And then burning up the presidential records. And then I seen film footage of him because he was a light-skinned black, but he was still a Negro. And they would show film footage of him at the White House where they would be throwing Johnson's baby powder on his suit and on his face. And you could see the smoke from the powder coming up when they interviewed him, trying to make him white all up. What kind of madness is that? This is the type of stupid. Abraham Lincoln was so black, they referred to him as blue black. Did you know that? I could show you a picture of Abraham Lincoln black. I bet you ain't never seen that.
No.
Oh, okay. You want to see it? Oh, okay. Let me show it. I got it right in here. That's easy. Ask me something hard. That's easy there. Picture Abraham Lincoln, that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing.
I've heard that so many times.
Well, no, you're going to see it.
Lincoln was a black man.
You're going to see it. The records.
You ever heard that black?
Yeah, you used to call him blue black. Yeah, he's a son of a slave, man. Let me show you something now, man. I got the pictures right in here. And then this other guy, he's black as tar, the first president of the United States, John Hanson. Here he is right here. Here he is right here. Get that. See him in there? Talking about something. Tell me about them. Don't tell me nothing about no Obama, man. Here goes John Hanson. And Obama is a Hamite anyway. He's African.
But see, at that time right there, though,
they're gonna run. I know what they're gonna.
States,
They're going to run that. I knew they were going to come with that.
Continental Congress.
Yes, but check this out. He was still recognized as the president over the country, man. They could say all that nonsense, because I had a girl out in the street trying to run that. At that time, listen, Negro, at that time, we were running things. Because when we used to control the United States, as quiet as that's kept, we weren't always slaves here. You understand? Before they went down into Africa and got us, we began to fall in Europe through fighting one another.
And that's what I'll be trying to tell polite.
Yeah,
we was not always slaves.
No, we were not. We ran this place. We ruled this for a long time, man. There's so much history that I see. We would have to be here all week for you to for me to show you the facts. How you think this guy became president?
Exactly.
You think crackers put him in office? No, we was running things. We was the first Congress. Matter of fact, we were the founding fathers. Guess what? I'm going to shock you. You ain't going to like this. Thomas Jefferson was black. You see all white people. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I had the pictures. I remember Malak brought them pictures of him with the big afro and all that. Yep. Yeah, he was black. But you see all the pictures have been whitewashed. Just like if you go to look for Warren Harding now, they're going to show you him as a white man. But guess what?
Who is he?
Warren Harding was president back in the 1920s. He was black. 1921. I'm going to show him to you. I'm going to show him. See, look. Let's see the name of that book. I'm not making this up. I'm going to show them to you. But now all the pictures you see of him are white. They're doing it. Even in the White House, they got him white. But when he was alive, they knew he was a Negro.
Now, you know what? I could agree with you on that, because if you look at the pictures of Hannibal today.
Hannibal is black.
White.
Right.
They're white right now.
Because they want, because
Hannibal,
that's that white, no.
showing him as a white man.
Yeah, but that's that white supremacy theory and that nonsense. You understand? Warren G. Harding. Now, I'm going to show you Warren G. Harding. He was a black president. That's what I'm going to show you. I want to show you he's black. I don't care. Yeah, he was one of the presidents. You want to make sure he was a president. I ain't just making this stuff up. Here we go, right here, page 140. Hey, here he is. Here it is. He's a light-skinned Negro. Now, he's light-skinned, but don't get it twisted. That don't mean, look, just like Mariah Carey's light-skinned. She's not a white girl. She's a Negro. You understand?
You said Mariah Carey?
Mariah Carey is a Negro, even though she's light-skinned. Just like Jennifer Beal. You don't see no Negro in her. You say, oh, that's a white girl. But her father looked like you.
Just like Adam Clayton Powell.
Right, Adam Clayton Powell. That's a whole nother. Right, but he's a Negro. But listen, from sex. Why? Because he was on one mission. That was to put God's word out and to die for the nation of Israel for the sins that they committed. Because if he didn't, God was going to kill all of us. You understand? Because he was fed up with us after helping us through so many trials and tribulations at times. He said, if y'all don't get it right, I'll just wipe out. But I'm going to let my son come down and take the blow for you, and so you can come back. And he did that. Now, but you showing this about King James? Yeah, he's just pulling it out. Yeah, you're going to pull it right off the internet. But King James is black. That's easy. We got so many pictures and stuff on King James. It's pathetic. But while we're scowling around, I didn't let the brothers see, but y'all saw it. We showed earlier that everything about Islam came out of where?
Everything out of
that the Muslims try to learn, they learn it from who?
Oh, they learned it from the prophets.
From the prophets and from Islam. Here go King James. Here go as a black man. There you go. See him? Where that source? He want to know.
It's off the internet.
It's off the internet.
Now, who's that?
We have the book.
King James. Show him. Let him see it. That's a black. Look at it. You can't tell me that's not Negro, bro.
I see white versions too. So
Yeah, but that's what they do.
Look at the features on it.
so which source is that one?
No, I got the book for you.
He got the book. He gonna show you.
You pull the page.
You know where that comes out? I'm gonna tell you where that comes out of. That comes out of the records that are in England that are hidden. They got records in England in the British Museum.
Westminster Abbey.
Westminster Abbey. That's where they hide all that. And they don't want you to see it. So what they give the public is a whitewashed version. So that you could grow up thinking he's white. So that would create a superiority thing of them being over you. When in fact, the lowest creature on this earth is Esau, the devil, the white man. Why? Because he ain't got sense enough to understand that a man was made to go with a woman, not another man. He ain't got sense enough to understand that you're not supposed to take your horse to bed and have sex with it. Do you know that? I'm sorry, I got to bring it out. To become a third, to become a 33-degree Mason, you have to have sex with a donkey. Oh, yeah. Now, you think I'm making this up, right? I'm not making this stuff up. That's part, listen, I'm just saying that if you want to get up to that certain level, you're going to lay down with that donkey. You're going to have sex with that donkey. Yes, you are. If you want to get up to a certain level, you must enter in through what they call the tunnels of Typhon. Now, the tunnels, we're talking above your head, right? Tunnels of Typhon was created by a guy that was 9 levels above Masonicism.
Above 33rd degree.
9 levels above a 33rd degree Mason. Guy who Jay-Z worships, Alex de Crowley. Okay, Alex de Crowley had sex with over 150 young boys. When he goes in the anal cavity, he calls it entering the tunnels of Typhon, which means that he's going to get spiritual power from the demonic forces of Satan because he had sex with these young boys, and after that, he murdered them. Now, if you want to, I gotta say it. Should I say it? I gotta say it. Y'all sure I can say it? It's all right? You cannot become president of the United States if you are not going through the Masonic sexual rituals behind closed doors. It's impossible. You have to do that. Even to get what General Colin Powell was, he had to play this thing called, what's that, catch the tail. In other words, the tail is a penis. Yeah, no, it's a penis, where they have to play with some other guys rod and all that. It's a lot of stuff that goes on. Look, there's actors in Hollywood that know what I'm talking about. And they know to get to a certain level, they were getting 50 million, 100 million in your account. You got to do all them things that's going on behind closed doors that people like Chris Brown, people like Bebe, there's supposed to be Lil Wayne's daddy. He's a Mason. Do you know that?
Who?
Baby. Lil Wayne's father, Cash Money. Yeah, he's a Mason. You don't see all the symbolism on him? So you got to read the symbolism.
Baby, that's not Lil Wayne's father.
Yeah, they call him Baby. Birdman. Birdman.
Yeah, that's why he kissed him in the mouth.
Right. Well, that's part of the homosexual rituals that you're going to go through. You're going to go through those rituals if you want to get up on a certain level. Is somebody knocking at the door? Oh, okay. Now, you're not going to get there without going through the tunnels of Typhon. And it works the same way in sports. Listen, much as I love Floyd Mayweather, man, I think he's a genius fighter. Listen, I listen, I think he's a great fighter. But when I see him secretly going all like that and doing these hand singles and all that, and then got mad at, what's it called, 50 Cent? And then, and told 50 one time, told somebody because he was angry, 50 ain't nothing but an F boy. Now, what do you think he meant? That's homosexual language. Yeah. That means it's a boy that he screws. Look, the rapper The Game, he came out and said out of his own mouth that 50 and Eminem tried to rape him one night after a concert. And he told them that he was not a pirate, whatever that means. I'm not a pirate, I like girls. And he ran. Pirate means gay. Pirate means gay. Yeah, but no, he ain't just said that because you are not going to get a major contract and become that $50, $100 million level without going through those Masonic homosexual rituals that exist. Because, see, they want to make sure you're down with them. And then if you say something bad about the so-called gay community, they destroy your career overnight. If you're an athlete, you're a ball player, right? Let's say I'm a ball player and I'm real famous. I'm playing basketball. And I got $250 million in my account. And then a news reporter comes and asks me, so, what do you think about the guy that came out the closet? Oh, I don't like faggots, man. I hate that. Then all of a sudden, what happens? 2 days later, he's on the news saying, I just want to, I'm sorry for what I said to the gay community, because why? You know what them crackers did? They grabbed him and took him in the room. They said, let me tell you something, man. We run this thing. Yeah, all of us is gay. And now, if you don't want to believe in this thing, we'll destroy your contract. You know, you won't be playing ball nowhere. You'll be pushing a broom. You'll be back in the hood on drugs. And now you get out there and you apologize. So they make him apologize. King James is black, but now I want to scowl around to something else. I want to talk about the youth.
That's something that's
go ahead.
James, the real name is Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob.
James is the
King
derivative
James,
of
his
Jacob.
real name is Jacob.
Yeah, and he was a
James is derivative of Jacob.
He was a Jacobean. That means he was one of the sons of Jacob. You understand? And he believed in the Bible and the laws of God. Just like you've been taught in school, you've been trained at Oppenheimer and the theory of relativity.
Einstein.
You were taught that they created the nuclear bomb, right? Give me that book again. Another lie they done taught y'all, man. Oppenheimer and Einstein learned from a Negro genius how to make the atomic bomb. Y'all didn't know that, did you? They're looking at me like I'm crazy. Nigga, come on, you got to be kidding. Okay, well, let's find out if I'm making this up. That's why the name of this book is called What They Never Told You. You all need to get this book. The brother here looking strange. He's got to be crazy. He's got to be nuts on this one. He's nuts. We know Einstein did it in Oppenheimer. They took the credit for it, but they got the blueprint and the theory and the mathematics from a black Negro. I'm going to prove that, what I'm saying. Think I'm making it up, right? It sounds insane, doesn't it?
No.
Oh, yes, it does, because you were trained to believe that Oppenheimer and Einstein did all of this. The theory of relativity and all this stuff, the nuclear fission and breaking down the atom, that all came from two white boys, Einstein and Oppenheimer. They even got commercials called Oppenheimer commercial, right? Okay, well, let me show you. Yeah, go ahead, man. Let me show you that they lied to you, Sandetta. That came from a Negro that if you seen him in the street, you would think he just some poor Jake from the hood. But he was a genius mathematically and in physics and all that. And they took everything from him, man, and didn't give him a dime or a credit. And what's the name? Oppenheimer and Einstein ran with it. That's how they've been doing it since we've been here, under them, taking all our ideas and claiming it to themselves. Most of the inventions in this country, do you know they were invented by blacks? I bet you didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh, you did? Mm-hmm. Oh, y'all been doing some reading after a while. Okay.
Guess who knows that?
Oh, at least he knows that, right?
Guess who knows that too? Bill Cosby.
Yeah, they
There's a book
trying to
called Black
murder
Book,
him now.
And he wrote the introduction to that book.
Right.
You got a VCR player?
Downstairs, yeah.
I'm gonna bring you some videos next time.
Yeah, they trying to.
Something called Hidden Colors.
Yeah. I saw that. The Hidden Color.
No, it's part 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
So I'm gonna bring you over all three.
Well, check this out. I want you to see this about this atomic bomb. Okay, y'all never heard of this guy. His name is Dr. Lloyd Quarterman. He's a Negro nuclear physicist. Listen at this. In the fall of 1979, while lecturing in Chicago, I was introduced to the nuclear scientist, Dr. Lloyd Quarterman, who had been awarded a certificate of appreciation.